What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I wanted to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the overall market. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. The offer ends very soon, in just about 11 days from now. Anyways, let's talk about the market. So right now we're seeing Tesla in the red, SPY is in the red, QQQ is in the red. The whole market is selling off a bit during this pre-market session because we did get some negative news. This news is coming out right over here as we're seeing a lot of tensions between Russia and Ukraine. There was some news that Ukraine essentially struck Russia with a US-made missile, and this is leading to a lot more tensions right now because there's threats to both sides, and this is causing some turmoil in the broader markets, at least for the time being. So I just wanted to call this out. We all personally hope for peace. We don't really want this to continue, especially as this affects innocent lives. But when this happens, we have to be very, very careful, especially when it comes to our trades. As far as the market goes, just know that there's not really much news coming out. We have very, very minor housing data, but it's not really affecting the market too much. For earnings, don't forget tomorrow we have Target and Nvda announcing earnings. Nvda announces it after market close. But for today, we just got Walmart's, Lowe's, and a few more. So let's just talk about those two for now. Walmart announced its earnings. They did very well. They beat on EPS with 58 cents adjusted above expectations. Revenue is at $170 billion above expectations as well. And the thing is that they also raised their guidance, which is not bad whatsoever, as they're saying sales outside of groceries are continuing to increase. So good guidance, good growth, and good earnings is what helped Walmart grow. That's why the share price is up right now. However, Lowe's, on the other hand, they beat on earnings and hiked guidance, but they still saw the share price drop because sales are anticipated to fall. Excuse me. If you go back right over here, we have earnings per share at $2.89. That's above expectations. Revenues at $20 billion above expectations, so not bad. Their guidance was pretty good. They did raise it a bit, but the issue is, like I said before, they still expect their sales to fall for the year overall when you calculate the numbers. That's why the share price is down. Anyways, let's talk about these numbers. So as far as SPY goes, we have this main support at 583. We got to hold 583. If we don't, we are at risk of coming down to 580, then 577 to our 200 EMA, which happens to align with this the gap fill all the way down here, at least on the daily time frame. So with that being said, we're going to be watching these levels very, very closely just to see how things end up moving. If SPY manages to reclaim 588, we could be turning for the 590 targets to start pushing to fill this gap above. If not, we're going to likely continue to dip. I presume the most likely possibility for SPY is we do dip a little bit more. And we're going to be watching to see if 583 holds or not. If it does not hold, look for 580 and then essentially 577. Why do I say that? Because of this turmoil that's happening to the Dow Jones and the broader markets involving this whole Russia-Ukraine situation. So that could lead to more turmoil and the risk of downside. We'll see if SPY can reclaim 586 to 588 or not. If it doesn't do that, we're looking for 583 to be retested, followed by even lower levels, all the way down here towards the 580 area, if not 577. So make sure you watch those supports very nicely. ES is dipping right now. We need to reclaim 5900 or 5880, those two ranges. Otherwise, we are at risk of dipping to the lower 5800s. And let me show you the 4 hours to confirm this. On the 4 hour, if we don't hold this support, I do see a risk of us coming down closer towards the 58.50 area, and then eventually 58.25 would be our next target if that fails us. So watch this very, very carefully. As far as Nvda goes, Nvda is trying to push right over here. I do think that we might dip closer to 140 and just kind of like consolidate around here, so it's not really doing a whole lot. So look for a retest of about the 140 area, and we'll have to see if we bounce off that or not, so keep that in mind. For the QQQ, for those who are interested, it is dipping a bit. We're going to be watching to see if this support holds around 495. That's what's trying to hold up right now. If 495 fails us, I do see a risk of us dipping to about 492, and that's where we happen to have the gap to fill. So watch those two supports. To turn bullish, you want to break past 503. This chart is favoring a retest of 495, and we'll see how it reacts to that. So just keep that in mind. As far as Tesla goes, the 4 hour does look a little bit weaker. We need to try to reclaim 340. Otherwise, there is a risk of us coming down to about 328. Let's look at 330 and then 328 as our two main supports. We'll have to see how well Tesla holds. Otherwise, there is a risk of it dipping a little bit lower. Just keep that in mind, guys. We could be dipping closer to about 328 on Tesla, especially as we have that gap to fill, so keep that in mind. There is a risk of it dipping a little bit lower, and we'll see if we bounce off either 328, if not where the gap fill happens to be. For NQ, this is rejecting, could be dipping lower. We'll have to see if we could hold support at 20,400. If we don't, this could start dipping towards 20,250, so keep that in mind. Apple could also be dipping lower. We need to try to reclaim 228. Otherwise, this could be dipping closer to about 225. So keep that in mind. IWM Russell 2000, it's dipping right now. We have to see if 226 holds us. That's the support we called out yesterday. If it does not hold, we're looking for 223 as the main support. So Washington 226 and 223 is our two support zones. We also have resistance at 228, then 230, but I do see a risk of us dipping closer to 225 or below. For coin, this is holding up nicely thanks to Bitcoin, which is holding up. This is going to consolidate, might dip towards 315. And then Bitcoin, Bitcoin, it's pushing right now, so that's helping coin to hold up. Bitcoin could be retesting 92,000. It's going to likely consolidate up there. For a few more, let me just double check this. We have Amazon. Amazon has 200 as our main support. If that fills us, we have 198. For Meta could be also dipping right here. We're going to be watching to see if 550 holds. If not, we could be dipping to 545. For Microsoft, we might be dipping closer to about that 412 area if that does not hold as well. And then we also have Google, which is starting to dip a bit. We could be looking for 174 before it tries to bounce. So we're seeing some tech stocks that are consolidating. They do have some risks of downside. But overall, guys, my view of the market is still the same. We have to be a little bit careful with the downside risks right now because of the whole situation involving Ukraine and Russia. So we'll see what happens. I hope for the best for everyone, and we'll have to see if we could hold these supports now and just be very patient with this news that's being released. I do see a risk of some downside in the markets. Just keep that in mind. Anyways, I'll be back in a couple of hours for another update. Until then, I just wanted to say I really appreciate you guys so much for listening, trying to make this video a little quicker. One more thing, the VIX is up right now. It's up quite a bit on the 4-hour time frame. We have this very interesting trend. So the VIX has this 200 EMA at 17.9. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about, by the way. If we break 17.9 on the VIX, it could attempt to fill this gap, taking it back up to 20. There's a possibility. So if the VIX gets that bounce, it's starting to look a little bit more bullish right now. That could be bearish for the market because the market has a bigger rug pull coming. So be careful. This is not the best of signs as we approach Nvidia's earnings, but we'll see what happens with that. So that's going to be the next major market moving event besides this one. So let's see how well the market holds up involving the involving the Ukraine-Russia news, and then we'll see how it goes from there. Anyways, I'll try to be back hopefully within the next 2 hours for one more update. And then I'll give you guys more updates throughout the day to the best of my ability. Until then, I hope you guys have a very, very awesome rest of your day. Remain calm, cool, and collected through all the volatility we're about to see. And I will most definitely see you guys very soon. Thank you for listening. Have a great day, guys, and peace out.